Welcome back to World According to Briggs. You know, I get asked all the time for the no BS explanation on the negatives about each state and most cities, really. Some people don't need a list, they just want an explanation. Just recently, I got an email from a guy asking me to explain the downsides of Texas, just like I would a friend, with no stats, no charts, just a story about Texas. You all seem to like that video, and everyone was asking for other states like California. So here's the California Rant. All right, California, buckle up. Preferably in a car that won't overheat on this 12-mile crawl you're probably stuck in. The Golden State is the land of sun, surf, and stress-induced jaw tension. If you've ever wondered what it feels like to live inside a postcard that charges you admission every time you look up, welcome to California. It's beautiful, it's expensive, and it's allergic to common sense. And its traffic could make a Buddhist monk mutter a few F-bombs. Let's start with the statewide vibe. California is like a gorgeous celebrity who never picks up the tab. The scenery is ridiculous, the weather is unfairly perfect, and every third person is walking a dog that looks better groomed than you did on prom night. But every step you take is met with a fee, a permit, or a cute little assessment that appears on your bill like a raccoon that learned how to open your kitchen window. Groceries have wow pricing, gas stations run on Silicon Valley optimism, electricity costs more than the winter heat of a Dickens novel, and housing, we'll get there, I promise. That is like a grand finale nobody living in California wants to talk about. But first, let's talk about the traffic, because that is one of the biggest problems California has. Everyone seems to think it's politics and a few other things. Traffic is miserable there. California treats traffic like a state sport. We're going to do a city-by-city tour of the rolling freak show that is mismanagement asphalt. Let's start with Los Angeles, where I was born and raised. The 405 freeway, which in California they just call them the 405, not the I-405 or anything like that. It's just 405, 510, 101. I've had people tell me they do that in other states, but for the most part, I've really experienced it just in California. But the 405 in Los Angeles is where dreams go to stare at the same bumper for 45 minutes straight. The 101 tries to be a highway, but it's got the personality of a Costco on Sunday. The 10 thinks it's a historical reenactment of a wagon train, slow, long, and very dusty. The 5 exists just to remind you what a gray wall of SUVs looks like at sunset. In Los Angeles, you don't measure distance in miles, you measure it in the number of podcasts it takes to get through the interchange. The GPS says 17 minutes, but you know it's lying, like a politician 2 weeks before election. And every shortcut through surface streets, it's just a scenic tour of stop signs that multiply like rabbits on fertility medication. Oh, in street parking, by the way, that's a folklore creature. People whisper about it, few have ever seen one, and if you find one downtown, no one will believe you when you tell that story over a campfire. Then you have San Francisco. Honestly, it's a beautiful city, with a road layout of spaghetti poured on a topographical map. The 80 is the Bay Bridge where group therapy sessions happen for cars. The 101 into the city is like a slalom event through construction cones that look permanent enough to vote in local elections. If you drive a stick, the hills will test your thigh strength, your brakes, and your religion. You will parallel park on an incline so steep you'll open your door and swear gravity filed a complaint against you. You could actually go rolling down a hill just trying to get out of your car. Now, the city is walkable, sure, but if you live far enough away that you can commute by car, you'll learn to love the phrase, expect delays, which in San Francisco means go ahead and age. Then, of course, you have San Diego. Lovely place, friendly people, gorgeous beaches. The 5 and the 805 merge like two drifting shopping carts. You'll be surrounded by military bases, surfers, college students, and retirees who all somehow need to be in the same lane at the exact same time. The 163 into Balboa Park is so pretty that you'll almost forget you're not moving, because you probably won't be for quite some time. Want to go to La Jolla on a summer Saturday? Pack snacks, a playlist, and your will. And if you're not from California, you might want to call it La Jolla. Riverside and San Bernardino, known as the Inland Empire. The 91 is a punishment invented by ancient Greek playwrights to symbolize suffering. That's the best way to explain it. The 15 and the 60 are endurance challenges for people who thought moving inland would mean more space and less traffic. Surprise! You just traded ocean air for warehouse chic and a commute that'll teach you how to calculate your life in exits. Bakersfield in the middle of Southern California, like the middle of it. The 99 and the 58 are conveyor belts for freight, with cars sprinkled in for decoration. If you love big rigs, you'll adore Bakersfield traffic. They're everywhere, and many of them have a personal relationship with your bumper. Wind gusts? Yes. Lane discipline? No. It's only on the holidays. Okay, breathe. Now that you've toured the Asphalt Olympics, let's talk about the cost of living. California's economy is massive, but your checking account will not be impressed. Move here, and your monthly expenses become a scavenger hunt of where every clue costs like $300. It's incredible. Groceries? Organic kale is priced like it did a semester abroad. Eggs are now a luxury item you display on a shelf and dust weekly. It's incredible now. People actually go to a store to buy herbs that used to be legal, and they go to a back alley behind a grocery store to buy eggs. The world's upside down. It's incredible. Then you got the gas prices. Gas prices play a game called How High Can This Go Before I Start Biking Uphill with a Freezer Strapped to My Back. Utilities, you can either turn on the air conditioning or you can send a kid to the community college. You just get to pick one, not both, just one. And housing? Oh boy. California treats housing like a limited edition shoe. Rare, coveted, and somehow resold for even more the second someone touches them. Coastal homes are multi-million-dollar fixer-uppers in neighborhoods where HOAs require you smile at your neighbor's lemon tree at least once a week. How else is it going to grow healthy if you don't? You'll go to an open house, see a door that doesn't close, and a foundation that shifts like a mood swing of a 13-year-old 8th grader, and you'll find out there's 34 cash offers for this shitbox in front of you. You want a yard? Move inland till your GPS gives up. You want space? You got to head out into the desert. Or in new neighborhoods that are so far away from civilization, you take your dog for a walk and you might find the bones of a long-lost prospector from the 1800s. Renters, don't worry, I got you covered. You're going to be paying a king's ransom for one bedroom with a peekaboo view, which means if you lean outside your window, stand on a ladder, have a periscope, you might get a glimpse of the ocean, but that's only if there's enough wind that kind of makes the neighbor's trees bend out of the way for you, so you got a clear shot. You'll also find landlords offering amenities like close to coffee and walls included. You'll find listings that say cozy, and you'll find that means your sofa and your self-respect will not fit in the same place at the same time. Now we have to discuss the split personality that is California politics. Coastal California is blue enough to qualify as ocean. Inland California is red enough to look like a sunset. The coastal places, San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, Santa Barbara, Santa Cruz, San Jose, they vote like they're trying to win a social science award. Big on environment rules, big on transit plans that arrive on PowerPoint years before the actual train, lots of electric cars, lots of compost, 1,000 yoga studios per capita, and a city council that spends 6 hours arguing about the wording of a mural or a plaque. Eastern and inland California, like Redding, Chico, the Sierra foothills, the Central Valley, lean more conservative and will let you know with flags that could shade a high school. And I promise you, most of them these days will say something about MAGA or Trump. This is also where a higher rate of Californians come from when they land in Texas or Idaho. All the coastal people leaving California tend to land in Arizona, Colorado, Oregon, Nevada, and Washington. But Eastern and Central California is where you're going to find rural California. Rural living is private property, fewer rules, and a firm belief that your car should make some noise. Pickup trucks here are the local language. You'll see "Don't Tread on Me" and "We Support Farmer" bumper stickers on just about every single truck. Sometimes both on the same truck or their fence. And they all look at coastal regulations the way you look at a $27 salad. Confused, insulted, not sure how you're going to go on. This split creates a statewide group project where nobody reads the same syllabus. Coastal California writes laws to save the planet. It's good intentions, complicated execution. Eastern California says, cool story, who's paying for that? Meanwhile, the rest of us are at the DMV renewing a registration that costs more than a flight to Dallas. California's government, bless its heart, never met a fee it didn't want to put on stilts. You get taxed when you buy a house, sell a house, breathe inside a house, and then again when you decide to leave the house and step onto the road that hasn't been repaid since the Bush administration. There are permits for your permits. Want to build a deck? You'll need an environmental impact report, a soil analysis, and a neighborhood council blessing, and maybe a seance to speak with the ghosts of the original oak tree that made the wood, or the wood it used to be. By the time you're done, you'll have a temporary structure that costs more than a new BMW and took longer to approve than a freaking moon mission did back in the 1960s. And let's sprinkle in a little extra. Wildfires. California treats fall like a campfire tutorial with a live audience. Smoke will travel hundreds of miles just to make your Wednesday look like an amber Instagram filter. Nobody asked for. And don't forget the drought. The state has perfected the art of celebrating rain like it's won the lottery, then immediately tells you to stop watering anything that isn't sagebrush. Then there's the mudslides. After a drought, the hills come down to visit the freeways, like a guest who doesn't know when to leave. Earthquakes, California's version of a surprise party. No cake, just cabinets dancing and newcomers evacuating their bowels at a Costco in front of a 75-year-old woman named Marge offering egg roll samples. Yes, after you've been through about 3 earthquakes, you're not scared that much. You'll get used to them. Now, schools can be great if you win the zip code lottery. Otherwise, you're fundraising for fundraising about the fundraiser. Public transit exists in places, but often seems designed by someone who rides it only on special occasions. High-speed rail is a masterclass of ambition, a train that will be glorious in the future where commuting by teleportation is probably here by then anyway. Yeah, they've had this bullet train plan that they've been wanting to do forever, and it's been started, it's been stopped, it's been started again. They've made more plans to start it, and it's still there collecting dust. Back to the cities for a second. Because the how do people afford this question shows up like a billboard no matter where you drive. In Los Angeles, every neighborhood is its own microeconomy. You have homes with 10 bathrooms next to apartments with no closets, pretending to be open concept. People spend 3 hours a day in their car just to live in a zip code that makes their mom proud. In San Francisco, a starter home is a condo that used to be a storage closet. In San Diego, you'll accidentally buy a house because you walked into an open house for free cookies and now you owe $3 million. And then there's the homeless situation in California, which isn't funny and shouldn't be handled with bad jokes. But I'm going to do it anyway. Homelessness is everywhere in California. It's visible, it's complex, it's tragic. California has tons of money going into mental health systems, drug crisis, and of course, all the bureaucracy that slows everything down. The result is tents under overpasses, on sidewalks, and along the riverbanks while 8 committees argue about the color of the solution's binder they're going to deliver to everyone. People deserve better than that, or at least free internet so they could find inspiration or a job to get off the streets. Instead, they get handouts and classes by wealthy housewives on how to select a good charcuterie board to match the wine you'll serve to your guests when you get back on your feet. Weather is lovely until it isn't. The coast, near perfect. Inland, you'll fry an egg on a dashboard and consider that meal prep. The desert areas require SPF ratings that look like a math error. Then there's the atmospheric river, which is something you learn about in California. It arrives and it brings all the storms with it. Your roof will learn humility, I promise you. Your porch chairs will float away like it's starting a new life downstream from your house. Welcome to the climate buffet. Every dish is a surprise, and the check is ridiculous. Overall, the weather is close to the best you can get in the United States, but it does have its moments. Now, I'm not trying to say they've got harsh weather, but most people just go there, thinking it's 74 degrees and sunny every single day. It is a lot of the days, but they do have their moments. Let's look at jobs. California has plenty of them. If you have a degree, a clean LinkedIn headshot, and the patience to interview 6 times with a panel that includes a dog. For everyone else, it's the hustle culture with scenic backdrops. You can make it here, but California wants your blood type, your mother's maiden name, and your firstborn's college fund as a deposit. Despite all this, people still move to California because it's gorgeous, it's creative, and it's got more opportunity than a lottery. But don't kid yourself. Opportunity does cost. You'll trade space for weather, time for scenery, and sanity for bragging rights. You'll brag that you can snowboard in the morning and surf in the afternoon and then sit in traffic all day to do neither. All right, let's land this plane. Assuming Los Angeles International Airport gives you a gate to disembark from sometime in this decade. California is a spectacle, jaw-dropping views, technological wizards, world-class food, and outdoor life that makes other states cry into their casserole. It's also a headache wrapped in regulations, sprinkled with fuel surcharges, and a few other things. The traffic isn't an inconvenience, it's a ritual here. The housing isn't a market, it's a high-stakes game show. The politics aren't a conversation, they're a couple arguing from opposite sides of a canyon with leaf blowers running. If you're coastal, you'll compost, bike, and support bond measures with names like the Equitable Sunshine Initiative. If you're inland, you'll wonder why the coast keeps inventing rules for your lawn while your neighbors harvest the food that everyone eats. The divide is real, the costs are nuclear, and the traffic is eternal. Would I visit again? Absolutely. Would I live there? No, never again. Only if my bank account married into money and promised to support us the rest of their life, I might move back there. But in my situation, I'm in Oregon, which isn't the cheapest place. I do all right here, but I wouldn't be doing all right in California. That sucks. I'll admire California from a safe distance at this point in my life, preferably from the parking spot that actually exists. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.